Hello, everyone. Welcome to Molehill Mountain, episode 417. Andrew here. I've been making videos on YouTube for quite a while. About 2011, I think. And let's see, 2012 or so, I made a video because I was writing guides for IGN at the time. And I made a video for one of the Lego games at the time. It was one of the DC superhero Lego games. And that remains one of my more popular videos. People still use it to this day to find all the doodads that they're collecting in that game. And to this day, I still get people leaving a comment asking me questions, specific questions about the level in that video. It's like, I can't find the one thing. Where is this thing? My guy, I would love to help you, but I made this video 13 years ago. I don't remember anymore. I'm sorry. I'm sure that must be frustrating, but I hope you can appreciate the fact that this video is almost 15 years old now. I genuinely don't remember. I appreciate the attention. I'm glad you're finding it mostly useful. I'm sorry you're frustrated because you can't find a thing in an older game, but man, I guess for some people just checking that, like, if they see a video, they just automatically assume it must be a recent thing. Like, if this, why would I be seeing a video that's 15 years old? What, right? Maybe I'm one of the few people who, when I see a video, I check to see when it was uploaded. Yes, how old it is. I don't know. Might just be me. But yeah, to this day, I still get like specific questions on a guide video from like 13 years ago. Anyway, so one manga that I quite liked from back in the day is City Hunter. Unfortunately, whoever published this, Rygene? Yeah, I guess Rygene Comics published this. They stopped, I think, after Volume 5, and there's a lot more than that. Which is a shame because I like City Hunter. I think it's fun. You can't see it because it's behind the couch, but I have all the cartoons. There's the damn TV show, excluding the movies and specials. The damn TV show ran for several seasons. There's probably well over 100 episodes of that. So I was browsing around the library, and I found an omnibus of not just City Hunter, but Hojo Tsukasa's other title, well, one of the other titles, Cat's Eye, which surprisingly is getting a anime remake this year or next year, in the vein of like a lot of Rumiko Takahashi's stuff, like Urusei Yatsura and Ranma 1/2, and they're going with Cat's Eye. I'm like, really? Not that I mind. But I actually did see the first couple episodes of Cat's Eye and didn't really do it for me. But they had, looks like they're releasing omnibus collections of both City Hunter and Cat's Eye. And my library has at least the first omnibus of both. And I was like, this is so exciting. And then I found out the whole thing was flipped. What that means is in Japan, typically everything's read from right to left. So, so the book opens this way, and you go this way. Well, that's different from how us Americans normally do it. We usually start from the left and go from the right. So how a lot of manga publishers have handled that is they just mirror image all of the art and print the pages in the opposite direction. It's kind of like what Nintendo did with the Wii release of Twilight Princess to make Link right-handed, even though there was literally zero reason to do that. They said it was because, oh, well, most people are right-handed, and the Wii uses the motion controls for the sword swipey, so we want to make sure that people don't have to think about it backwards, which is dumb and wrong because no one would have to do that. Whether you're holding the Wii remote in the right hand or the left hand, swinging it from right to left is swinging it from right to left, regardless of what hand you're holding it in. It doesn't matter. It's the same direction. But Nintendo didn't ask me, so they did an oopsie. And the whole game was mirrored. Which you can't mirror art. It's not the same thing. When art is backwards, it looks wrong. You erase flow, artistic content. People moving across it, particularly in, animated or live action things, people moving across the frame in a particular direction communicates something to us. As an example, if you watch, I don't know, Fellowship of the Ring, for most of the movie, the Fellowship is always moving from screen left to screen right. Because for Americans, we read left to right, so we naturally intuit that kind of a movement as forward progress. They're making progress on their journey. If when they go home, or when they backtrack, or when they run away from something, or when they're doing something that takes them further from their goal, typically they will move from screen right to screen left. So you can't just mirror art, it hurts the art. Mirroring manga and stuff like that kind of reminds me of like dubbing, or back when they used to force widescreen, when people's television screens were square or 4x3, they'd crop off the ends of the left and right of the movie to make it fit the screen, saying that, oh, people would rather see nearly a third less of the movie's image rather than have those black bars at the top and the bottom, which was, for the most part, a lie. All that required was education. People saw the black bars, and what they thought was that for some unknown, inexplicable reason, the black bars were covering up part of the image. All that needed to be done was explain to people, hey, have you ever been to the movie theater? Yeah. You know how the movie theater screen is like really wide? Yeah. You know how the image is really wide filling up that screen? Yeah. What shape is your TV at home? Squarish. Right. So if we want to get that entire wide image on your square-ass TV, we're not the black bars aren't covering up any image. It's just the black space where image doesn't exist. If you zoom in on the image so that it fills the vertical space, you're leaving off information on the left and the right. I think if people understood that that's what was happening, most, definitely not all, but most people would be like, oh, well, that's bad. Then again, I've seen plenty of people's TV setups with stretching out 4x3 content to fill widescreen, and like they don't notice or don't care, and TVs ship with like the worst settings possible with this weird motion smoothing that makes everything look terrible. I don't know. I'm sure many of you have been to like parents' house, and the way their TV settings are set up drives you nuts, and you're like, hey mom and or dad, do you want to like turn off the motion smoothing, or not stretch the image out horizontally or vertically? Wouldn't you rather see something as it was artistically meant to be shown to you? Some people will say no. But I think most people, if they understood what was actually happening, they'd say, yeah. Now, I don't think that's actually the case with dubbing. I think most people understand this was recorded in a different country that primarily speaks a different language. And so we re-recorded all the dialogue, and that's why all the mouth flappings don't match. And I know some people just hate reading or can't read. I don't have a problem with dubbing per se. It's great for people who can't read or have dyslexia or are sight impaired. Some people can't read the subtitles and they need the dubbing, which is great. But these days we have our TVs are essentially computers. You can switch dialogue tracks and toggle subtitles on and off. Another bugbear of mine is studios who feel that closed captioning is the exact same thing as English subtitles. It is not. You need to have both because they're not the same. I may need English subtitles, but I don't need closed captioning. I'm not hard of hearing. I know that I don't need the subtitles to say, "The wind blows." Yeah, I know, I can hear it. Creepy music plays. Yeah, I know, I can hear that. I just can't understand the dialogue because your characters are muttering. Anyway, I had a decent cry over the fact that the City Hunter Omnibus and the Cat's Eye Omnibus are flipped. And I didn't borrow them. Harumph. I'm just the kind of guy who wants to see things as they were meant to be presented. And if I can't have that, then I won't have any harumph. Again, to be clear, I do not mind options to accommodate different viewing habits. Subtitles are great. Dubbing is great. But it shouldn't be the only option. And I don't see any need. I am unaware of any reason that flipping art, mirroring it, would be accommodating is an accessibility issue in any way. If it is, and I'm just ignorant of that, hey, great. But then both should be available. But I can't think of a way that mirroring the art would be an actual accessibility thing, right? And yeah, I'll admit, if you are used to reading left to right, it's kind of awkward to, start from the other side and move the other way. It takes, I would think, most people just, 30 seconds to get used to. You just go the other way. It's fine. The sentences are still printed left to right, You just have to get used to starting in the upper right corner of a page and working your way down to the bottom left. It's a small adjustment, but man, I've never met anyone who has articulated that they just can't wrap their brains around it. Like they just can't do it. They never get used to it. The only thing I've ever actually heard against it is, no, I don't want it. You read left to right. That's how it's done. Harumph. Okay. So I tried to watch a movie on Peacock last night. It's called Honey Don't. And I guess it's a investigative murder mystery kind of a thing. And I'm like, is the killer's name Honey? And the victims are like, Honey, don't stab me in the face. I don't know. I was like, okay, I'll watch this. But Peacock appears to be broken right now because when you hit pause, you get black bars at the top and bottom because it's giving you a background to read the various options you have to pause, fast forward, turn on the subtitles, things like that. When you play the movie, the black bars are still there, they're just transparent. Or, I'm sorry, translucent. You can still see them, they're just gray. They won't go away. That would seem to be an issue with the way the movie is hosted on that platform. And I scanned through the first half of the film, and the whole thing is like, at least the first half of the movie is like that. I'm like, I can't watch. I am the kind of guy that is sensitive to like framing. Do I remember what movie it is? No, I don't remember what movie it is. I went to see a movie in the theater back in the before times when I actually went to the theater, and the movie was not framed correctly. I could tell. So I got my money back and I left. Cause that bugs me. It's like, okay, so you're missing like the bottom 5-6% of the frame. Big deal. I mean, it is to me. So, yeah, I couldn't watch Honey Don't because there were translucent gray bars on the top and bottom of the screen, literally obscuring the image. It's not like these were negative space where the image doesn't expand into. It was just someone putting a translucent bar over the top and bottom of the image. Weird. So I tried watching another movie. I tried watching Black Phone? Is it Black Phone or is it some other phone? I think Ethan Hawke is in it. He plays some type of masked child kidnapper, and the child gets locked in a basement and has to escape with the help of the ghosts of the previous children that were kidnapped and killed there. Something like that. And this was on Peacock again. And I know a sequel to that movie is coming out or came out. And I got about 2 minutes into the movie and I couldn't watch it because the image was too dim. And for a moment I was like, is it just the movie? Is the movie underlit? I mean, it is a horror, suspense, thriller movie. I expect it to be kind of dark, but it really came off as like the light in my television, the backlight in the television is starting to die. you know? Plus, it was clear that the ads that ran before the movie started were also dimmed. So I think Peacock is having some problems right now. So instead, I watched a movie with another serial killer movie, this one on Shudder, different streaming platform, called Dangerous Animals. It's about a serial killer who kills people with sharks. Which is that's a new one, so that's kind of funny. He's ostensibly a swim with the sharks kind of a tourist trappy guy. He takes it's in Australia, I think, and he takes tourists out into the ocean to go sit in a shark cage and watch the sharks swim around, right? But that's just a front because he just kidnaps them and then dangles them on the end of a winch into chum-filled waters and watches them get eaten by sharks. Okay? Yeah, the movie's okay. It's not bad, I just didn't really connect with it for whatever reason. I just found the whole movie just still a little on the dull side, although I will admit, I will say the positively that the score is really good. The shark attack in the center of the film, when we find out how this guy actually offs his victims, is really well done. Sadly, the big sharky money shot at the very end of the film, can't say the same for that one, so that's a shame. There's a lot of physical human on human violence, and that's all actually well done. It's high impact and crunchy, and the first thing that happens is a strangulation. And usually when people are strangled in movies, someone's got their hands around their throat and the victim will just grab onto the wrist and be like, no. I've never been strangled, I've never strangled anybody, and I've never watched anyone be strangled. But I would imagine, perhaps wrongly, that if someone's getting strangled, even by someone who's physically much larger and more powerful than them, they would just kick like a mule. And I really appreciated that the strangulation scene in this film, the victim is just flailing all over the place. It still probably takes it quicker than it would be, but I really appreciated the fact that the stunt actor was just flailing and kicking and going all over the place. Rarely ever see that in a strangulation scene in a film, so that was nice to see. Um, One of my problems with the film is definitely a me problem. Uh, I do not believe in love at first sight. Lust at first sight, sure. Love, no. I feel that you gotta get to know someone. You can't just fall head over heels in a couple of hours. Maybe that's just me, but when I see that in film, I'm immediately held at arm's distance. Arm's length. I'm at a distance, right? Uh, and I understand why films do that. Films are, 2 hours long or so. We don't have time to have months or weeks long of courtship unless we're going to do like a cheesy romantic comedy-esque montage or something. Um, so when these two people meet in this movie and immediately jump in the sack, and then she gets kidnapped the next morning, he moves heaven and hell to try and find this complete stranger that he doesn't know at all. And I I mean, hell, I'd go to the police too. It's clear that she's missing, because he finds her van parked at the ocean. Her surfboard is gone. She probably drowned. That seems pretty likely, but I mean, he not only goes to the cops and goes around to, he starts watching security footage or publicly available. There's like cameras pointed at all the oceans to observe the waves so surfers know where the cool waves are. And I guess it's archived because he starts following her truck, and then he finds out that there was another truck, and he searches this guy down, and he goes to the marina where he's docked, and he sneaks up on the boat, and I'm like, I don't buy it. I just don't buy it. I I cannot suspend my disbelief quite that much. Um, it's not a bad movie. It's a perfectly fine, serviceable movie that does a lot of things quite well, and I can't think of another movie where a serial killer kills people with sharks. So, it's got that going for it. But overall, I was just kind of meh on the movie. I was a little bored. I just kind of found it a bit dull. Oh well. But Shudder unfortunately doesn't have an app that I can watch it on my television, so I can use my TV as a computer monitor and watch Shudder and Criterion movies on my television. But for whatever reason, the sound is like really low. I have to crank the volume to hear what the hell people are saying in movies. Usually I have to turn on the damn subtitles because I just can't understand what anyone's saying. I don't know why the sound is so quiet when I pump imagery out to my television, but it is. So, Monster Hunter Wilds. This past weekend was Title Update 3, which did the big Final Fantasy some number, I think it's 14 crossover, where we got Omega, this one, Planetus, I think they got. Yeah, it's spelled Planetus, but I think she pronounced it Planetus. Omega Planetus. Omega Platypus. That's a better name. So it's the big crossover event in Monster Hunter World. We had the Behemoth from Final Fantasy, and it's meant to be a big raid boss, right? You're supposed to bring in other hunters. You're supposed to have someone as a dedicated tank and someone as a dedicated healer and others as dedicated DPS. Um, the nice thing about Omega in Monster Hunter Wilds is, unlike in World, the previous games, this game has computer-controlled support characters. So if you're a solo gamer like me, you can still play the damn thing and have support hunters with you. And they actually work pretty darn well, surprisingly. If you bring in the Lancer, which is the person who has the big shield, um, they automatically take the role as the tank. They focus on the head. They keep trying to draw aggro. If you include the dude with the hunting horn, he's constantly buffing the party and doing heals and status, curing you when you're bastatist, and upping your defense and attack, stuff like that. If you bring Olivia with her hammer, she'll focus on the head a lot. It works pretty well, and it's a fun fight, and it's very challenging. The first time I tried it without the support hunters, and found out very quickly that yeah, this is supposed to be played with multiple characters, human or not. Because if you're there all by your lonesome, you better be very good at Monster Hunter. And I am not. I am adequate at Monster Hunter. Omega, if you're the only one there, well, Omega doesn't have anyone to divide its attention between, so it's going to focus on you the entire time, which means you're going to really struggle looking for some window, some opening to actually do any damage, because you're going to spend most of your time running screaming from all of the mustard bombs and the lasers and all of the crap that this thing throws at you. So, my first attempt did not go well. So I brought in so I fired the SOS flare and tried it again with the support hunters and beat it. So that was nice. And it's a fun fight. I really enjoyed it. It's nice to be able to play the intended multiplayer content all by myself, because they just give you some computer-controlled support hunters to go with you, and it works just fine. So kudos to the developers for allowing that. One thing I regret about Wilds is I'm not good enough to solo Behemoth or Kulv Taroth or Elatrion or Fatalis by myself. Now, Fatalis is not meant to be a raid monster. That can be soloed, but it's really hard, and I kept running out of time. Fatalis was one of those you've got like 30, 35 minutes, and I got close several times, but I just could not, I wasn't good enough to do enough damage to actually kill it within 35 minutes or whatever the time limit was. Kulv Taroth, Elatrion, and Behemoth were meant to be multiplayer monsters, and I don't have PlayStation Plus or Gold or whatever the hell it's called, so I couldn't play with other people even if I wanted to, and I really don't want to. So I fought those monsters several times, but I just could not do enough damage to bring them down in the time limit. Kulv Taroth was particularly insulting because she gets bored and leaves if you don't meet a particular DPS check. She'll just skedaddle. She will vamoose. She'll like, oh, not even worth my time, hair flip, and she waddles out. Makes me feel bad. But Omega, I was able to, despite being a intended multiplayer experience, I was able to actually experience it and beat it and enjoy the fruits of the accomplishment, such as new armor and a new gesture, which is I think it's the cactuar pose, which is funny. Um, Once you do that, then you unlock the Savage Omega fight. Behemoth had Extreme Behemoth. Uh, Omega has Savage Omega, which is the same fight. There's one new attack. I'm pretty sure the Frost attack is brand new to Savage. But holy biscuits, is that one hard. That one took some doing. That one I beat it, I think, on my 7th try. And I beat it with 26 seconds to spare. Really came down to the wire on that one. My fifth attempt, I carded, I lost my last life. I failed the quest with like 2 seconds left. I was not going to beat it. I was gonna run out of time in 2 seconds anyway. I just got mollywopped. Similar thing happened on my 6th attempt. We were in the final area. We were in the home stretch. Savage Omega was skulled, and I got carded with a minute left on the timer. The final area is more than a minute walk from the camp you respawn at, so it's like, I mean, Omega could be down to 1 health. It could take just throwing a rock at its face. But there's no way to actually get back there in time. So, but 7th time's the charm. Beat it with 26 seconds to spare. And got access to a new armor set and a new gesture, which is a funny little moonwalking dance, which is adorable. I really liked, as damned difficult as that was, and for me anyway, easily the hardest thing in this particular game, by far. Still a good fight, very learnable, but it's one of those fights that you have to actually, it's something for my skill level anyway, that I can't be casual about. I have to really, lean forward and pay attention to what I'm doing. And in order to beat it, I did have to rethink my equipment and item loadout. Like, I normally don't bring cleansers with me, which is if you get webbed or snowballed or frozen to the ground. Whatever. I'll wait out the 5-6 second timer, whatever it is. But with Savage Omega, you don't want to wait out the timer. You want to get up and move before you get killed. So I brought cleansers with me. So if I ever get caught in that freeze, which I see it coming, I know the tell, but it's wider than you think. Sometimes you've committed to something and you're like, oh well, shoot, gonna get caught. Now I have a cleanser and I can get out of it quick. For Charge Blade, I'm maining Charge Blade and Hammer. Charge Blade is one with a shield. Charge Blade, because it has a shield, is slower mobility. So you're going to want to block. I had to equip Guard Up 3 because Omega hits so hard and so frequently, like consecutively, that you're going to run out of stamina and it's going to break your guard. So if you're using a shielded weapon, you're probably going to want Guard Up 3, and you're probably going to want something like either Constitution or Stamina Surge so you don't run out of stamina. Because if you block something, you're not going to have time. That's probably the first in 5 or 6 volleys of attacks. You're going to have to commit and stand there and block for a while. Because you're probably not going to have time unless you've got, like, I don't know, evade, quick sheath and evade extender. You're not putting that shit away and rolling away in time. Probably not. So you're gonna have to stand there. So you had to really rethink. I had to say, okay, Omega is weak to lightning or thunder, I guess. So I have to. So I'm going to bring in a thunder weapon, but the Nursilla clone, which the character spawns another large monster to fight, and this is the DPS check of the fight. You have to kill this monster, or it's going to do a screen wide party wipe kind of a move. But the monster's weakness is a completely different element, so I had to bring in a different element weapon to take care of this particular monster. So, yeah, one of the things I like about Monster Hunter, when you have to really think about what you're doing, really know your opponent and what they throw at you, and know how to counter it, and build your equipment and loadout to uh, be able to counter anything that it can throw at you. And sadly, I've felt the more modern Monster Hunter games broadly trend away from that. Like in Monster Hunter Wilds, you can set up your weapon wheel for anything you want. They're highly customizable, and I never bothered because the game just didn't have any challenge high enough that made me feel, oh man, I need to quickly access this one thing. So I've never bothered customizing my weapon wheels. But but I beat Savage, and luckily I got all the parts I need to make uh, 5 pieces of the all the Omega parts I need to make 5 pieces of the new armor set. Sadly, there's 2 versions of the new armor, the masculine and the feminine version. So if I want to get both, and I do, I'm gonna have to beat Savage at least once more, probably twice, because it's unlikely I'll luck out and get. Because for a full set, I need 3 of the Savage exclusive parts, and I lucked out and got all 3 on my first completion. Would I be lucky enough to get all 3 on a second completion? Probably not. So I'll probably have to do that twice more. But I haven't been able to craft the armor, because while I have all of the Omega parts I need, each piece requires the most rare drop, the gem, from Lagiacrus, Zoshia, Arkveld, Mitsitsune, and Seregios. Basically, some of the with the exception of Gore, probably the hardest monsters in the game. Though there are 6-star versions of them that if you don't really want to play the really hard versions, you can take it easy when farming for the gem drops, because those gems, those are like 1 to 2% drops. I think its quest reward is 1% and carve is 2%. They're pretty rare. Luckily, I happen to have 2 of the Mizu gems, so I just need Seregios, Laggy, Zoshia, and Arkfeld. Got 1 Laggy, but still got a few more to do. But that's Monster Hunter for you. So yeah, I'm pretty pleased with this new raid-esque boss. Had a lot of fun with it. Gonna have to do some more grinding so I can make all the equipment. But overall, I'm just really glad that as a single player gamer, I got to participate in the multiplayer adventure, because I didn't really get, because I'm single player, I didn't really get to enjoy Behemoth or Kulftaroth or Elatrion in Monster Hunter World and Iceborne, which is a shame. And to be clear, if you're good enough, you can actually solo all those monsters. I've seen it done. I can't do it. I'm not that good. So, um, Monster Hunter Wilds is they've got the new festival coming up in a couple weeks, 2 weeks maybe. I think it's like the 23rd or something like that. So looking forward to that. Be more I if I'm not I think they're introducing Gogmazios, first Elder Dragon for this game, which I know people oh, Elder Dragon, and I've always found that kind of weird because I to me there's no difference between regular large monsters and elder dragons. The only difference between an elder dragon and a not an elder dragon is you can't capture an elder dragon. Just doesn't work. I don't know why that's a big deal to some people, but you know, more power to them. And having not played, I think it was Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, I've never challenged Gogmazios, so that's going to be a new one to me. Be interesting to see if it's meant to be a multiplayer engagement or not. If it is, well, got the support hunters anyway, so I'm sure it'll be fine, even if it's terribly difficult. So yeah, still enjoying. Where are we? I think it came out the end of February, so 9 months. Still playing the game, still really enjoying it. Although I tend to play it like maybe once a week or so. Basically when there's new stuff. You know, the title update happens. You know, Omega was the big event, so I took Stellar Blade out of the PS5 and put Monster Hunter Wilds in and played it. It's Monster Hunter Wilds is out of my system again. It will actually be going back in next Tuesday or whatever day of the week I'm actually have time to play it, because the next event quest actually has a new armor piece that you can earn. There's an event quest coming up where you can get a skull mask, so that's fun. And then of course there's the festival, which is later this month. So looking forward to that. I still think their DLC is overpriced. And I was disheartened to see that the new Trails in the Sky first chapter game seems to be following that pattern, with just ludicrously overpriced cosmetic DLC. There are a bunch of fun costumes, extra DLC costumes for the new Trails in the Sky remake, but they're splitting them up. For example, all the characters have like a restaurant shop waiter kind of an outfit. And I think it's $5.99, which is pretty steep, but it's sold in sets of 3. So it's like $5.99 each. So if you want Tita, I don't know, Tita, Agate, and Sherazard, that's $5.99. If you want, you know, Estelle, Joshua, and Chloe, that's another $5.99. If you want, you know, Zen and Olivia and whoever else I missed, that's another $5.99. It is stupidly expensive. And I'm old enough to be prickly about the fact that when I was young, when I was a kid, and when I was a young adult, this was just stuff that was in the game for free. You earned it by playing the game and completing special tasks in games. It rewarded you with stuff like this. Now you just buy it, which to me makes it less special. I think the outfits are cool, but like the outfits I have in Monster Hunter are outfits that I worked for. I earned through play. You know, they don't mean anything to me if I just buy them. That's no fun. No one beats DOA for overpriced cosmetics. Oh, holy shit. That's what was it? DOA 6 that had like $1,300 of DLC or some obnoxious thing? Yeah. Yeah. Stuff's expensive, man. Let's see. Chaos says with Xbox weakening their position in the market so much, a new competitor could enter the market and be consumer friendly, not nickel and dime everyone, and be very successful. I don't know, but yeah, I'd love to see that. Oh, it was five and DOA 5 and 6. Yeah. And it's like, as long as the perception is this is extra stuff that you're doing because it's fun and it's not stuff that you yanked out of the game to sell separately, doesn't mean it isn't that. It just means that can't be the perception. It may be that, but you have to work to make sure that's not the perception. Um, that kind of, here's some extra stuff. We're so glad you're enjoying the game and we made some new cool stuff for you. We had to work on that, so it's not free. You know, I could get behind that, I think, as long as it felt like that's what it was, even if it wasn't. If it feels like that's what it is, and it doesn't feel like it's grossly overpriced, then sure. But again, when you're charging $5.99, $6 for one costume, not even a new character, but just a costume, or like an emote or a gesture, it's like I, I don't know. I'm sure there's a spreadsheet somewhere that proves me wrong, but I would think that if this stuff were reasonably priced, like if it was $1, $1 for a new costume, you know, that's for many people. That's impulse buy territory. That's like, ooh, $1 candy bar at the checkout queue at the supermarket. Oh, I'll just take one of those, right? If the Snickers bar was $5.99, probably very few people, I think, would buy it. But I'm sure some very smart economics person has run the number and figured out that if we charge $5.99 at the register for Snickers bars, less people buy them, yes, but the number of people who do buy them actually ends up being more money for us than it would be more sales at $1 a piece. I'm sure that's the case. I'm not privy to that data. But I do know that occasionally I see some DLC that I'm like, oh, that's super cool. If that were what I considered reasonably priced, I'd drop $1 on that, sure. But $6 for a costume? Or for an emote? No, sir. I am far too frugal for that. Chaos says it was fine for Guitar Hero and Rock Band. Buy the songs you like and skip the ones you don't. Yeah, the problem is they oversaturated the market with new releases of the game with new plastic instruments, right? Um, they could, if they weren't stupidly greedy, not just greedy, but stupidly greedy, um, they could have milked that cow for a decade. It's like, you've got our plastic instruments. We're just gonna keep making songs, and you can buy the ones. You can buy them individually for fair prices, or you can buy them in packs by genre, artist, all kinds of different ways for fair prices. If and they could just keep adding songs to the marketplace, that would have probably gone for a decade. Instead, they kept releasing new games with new instruments. It's like, now there's a digital touchpad on the frets that you need to play all the new songs. It's kind of like in the Trails game where they have new orbments every time, and so you got to throw all your goddamn quartz away. Art imitating life. And here we are now. The music, the plastic instrument music genre is dead. And it's been dead for like 15 years because they killed it. They choked the life out of it. They slaughtered that golden goose. They milked that cow until it died. Until its teats emitted nothing but dust. Stupidly greedy. They're counting on the whales. Yeah, like I mentioned, there's probably a spreadsheet that there's one column that says, okay, if we priced it reasonably, here's how much money we could expect to make, with more sales. However, if we price it stupidly, shittily, if we overprice it, we're going to have a lot less sales, but we project we'll have this many, as Chaos points out, whales, and that number's bigger than this number. So while it's worse for the consumer, and if we weren't short-sighted, worse for us overall, long term, we're going to go with the more consumer-unfriendly approach because line go up. Because we don't have the ability to see past the current quarter. And we're not in it for art or entertainment. We don't care if anyone likes it or not. We just care about money. And, when it comes to art, as an artist myself, that makes me sad. All of the artists that I know personally, um, genuinely love what they do. I mean, even when they're monetizing it, right? Um, all of the artists I know uh, are doing, they are definitely trying to make a living, sure, but they also want to make stuff that people like, you know? I'm sure I have known artists who have gone on to become grifters who just make garbage because it pays the bills, either because they're lazy or don't care anymore, or they've got to put food on the table. I I don't know the full lives of every person I've ever met, so but yeah, it's that makes me sad. Like the idea that you've got these teams of artists creating art for art appreciators like myself to enjoy, and to hear that some of them just genuinely don't give a shit about art or entertainment or the well-being or enjoyment of the person, you know, lining their pocketbooks is really sad for me, among other things. That makes me sad. Um, Snickers will probably be hitting that $5. You know what? Snickers could be $5. I use self-checkout, so I have no idea what they're Well, I mean, even using self-checkout, they do have the little candy racks and impulse buy shit up by the self-checkout queues. So, I just don't buy candy bars. So, yeah, you're right, Cass. It could be $5. I have no idea. You know, like the only thing, yeah, maybe a Snickers is like 3.79 now or more. It's like, what are you talking about, Eddie? You actually think a Snickers bar is $1? Yeah, I guess I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't. Um, Chaos says Rock Band didn't. Guitar Hero released 5 games in 1 year. Activision ruined the market. Uh, I'd have to go back and look, but my memory is telling me that yeah, Guitar Hero was that Activision? Yeah, Activision. Um, yeah, they had a lot. Now, Rock Band definitely did have a bunch of releases, but yeah, Guitar Hero uh did the lion's share, I'd say, of the saturation, and I think that was partially because they were trying to make up ground that they were, or at least felt they were losing to Rock Band, and they just assisted in destroying it for everyone. Thanks a lot, Activision. Was that you, Kotick? Was Bobby Kotick CEO of Activision back then too? That guy sucks. That guy's genuinely a bad person too. Like, like abusive, like physically abusive and threatening to other people. Like he's genuinely a really shitty human being. not just because he's a greedy CEO, just as a personal person, genuinely horrible human being. Let's see. Hershey is raising their prices by 25%. Is it Hershey who has the private? No, that's Nestle, right? Who has the private army and steals water? Yeah, Rock Band had 3 main games plus the Beatles, and they were more spread out. It was Kotick back then. Yeah. And yes, I'm tangentially aware, though I've not read the full details of the EA buyout. Um, I guess they're looking to relive the glory days of the early 2010s when they were voted worst company in America 2 years in a row. Yeah, yeah. Video games are fun though. So are comic books. So I mean, when they don't flip the art, you know the Netflix movie they just did was it Netflix? Pretty sure it was Netflix. Netflix movie they did based on City Hunter. Not too bad. Not great, but not too bad. Really, really strong performance by the dude who played Ryo Saiba. That guy really captured the essence of that character. It's a really wonderful performance. The movie's okay. The rest of the actors are fine, but I didn't feel that they actually captured the essence of the characters in the way that the lead actor did. But I mean, if one of the characters is gonna absolutely nail it, I guess your lead is probably the best one. Chaos says, yeah, I don't have high hopes for the new Mass Effect with the buyout. Yeah, not sure what's gonna happen with like BioWare. Um, and I blame the horse shit that happened, particularly with the later Mass Effect games, definitely 3 and certainly Andromeda. That's EA being absolutely dog crap at managing their studios. You know, that's unrealistic expectations. You know, that's like, we need this out in this quarter, whether it's done or not, and you have to put all this stuff. Or, yeah, I don't. Those yeah, yeah. EA's I don't know. I would hate to say it's like you can't be a CEO unless you're also an artist. I don't know. It's two different jobs, but it would be nice if the people who actually run companies that do a specific thing actually cared about the specific thing and the people who buy the specific thing and enjoy the specific thing. That would just be that would be icing on the cake, I suppose, but too many CEOs and executive management that I've observed in the years that I've reported for Game Politics and the years that I've, followed the industry as a layperson. It comes across as most of these people, I don't think they even know what the hell their company even does half the time. They genuinely just don't. Like Bobby Kotick, for example, or, EA, who's that? That's Andrew Wilson. They don't give the slightest shit about video games or art in general. They care about money. To them, it is a vehicle to become even more wealthy. At least that's all of their words and actions tell me that. I mean, they may poo-poo my conclusion, but I'm basing that on their words and actions. So, if you want me to think something else, then I mean it's kind of like a person getting ornery when you call them a bigot. Like, I don't like it when you call me a bigot. It's like, well, oh, but I don't imagine you do. Have you thought about trying not doing and saying bigoted things? Well, in my heart, I'm not bigoted. Okay, if that were true, you wouldn't say and do bigoted things. You know? If you don't want me to think you're a bad person, stop doing and saying bad things. Yeah. It's like, don't listen to what I say or watch what I do. Feel what's in my heart. It's like I can't. That's not a thing. All I can judge is what you say and what you do, and you do and say bad things. So I think you're a bad person. Uh, let's see. Chaos continues. Andromeda wasn't made by the main BioWare team, and it was made using Frostbite, which held it back. There was something else that in the Ryoga Gotoku Studios, the RGG Studios, the Yakuza Like a Dragon. They switched from their Dragon engine to the Unreal engine for not Kenzan. They haven't done that one yet. Ishin. Um, and I don't know why they did that. There was some reporting that someone said, "Oh, well, it handled the lighting changes better." I'm like, "Okay, but Ishin was a fun game, but one of the worst running and buggy Yakuza slash Like a Dragon games I've ever played." I, so I don't know if I mean, because they're self-published, I think. Oh, no, Sega. I don't know if Sega was like, "Hey, you need to use the Unreal Engine for some reason." Uh, I have no idea what actually happened there. It was weird. It's an odd choice because the Dragon Engine has been pretty great so far. Um, but they're like, "Oh, we switched to Unreal." It's like, yeah, and it's bad. I mean, again, the game is still fun, but it's really inconsistent performance and buggy. I don't know if that's the engine or something else, but this hasn't been a problem in any other game, so yeah, Iwata seemed like a pretty good dude as far as, big company CEOs go. Um Whether it's one thing I'll say about the upper management at Nintendo. Um who was it was it before he what was it Yamauchi? I think his name was. Even that crotchety old bastard. um Everyone from Miyamoto to Iwata, Reggie Fils-Aimé, Doug Bowser, who's leaving and being replaced by Devin something or other, some veteran in Nintendo. She's been there for like 20 years. I forget her name. Perrin Kaplan. All of these people, as upper management types for a large multi-billion dollar international corporation, they all present like they actually like video games. You know? When Reggie Fils-Aimé or Satoru Iwata or what's his face who does Kirby and Smash Brothers, the hell's his name? Sakurai. Um when they say, "Oh, I was playing this video game," or when they're doing their silly little Nintendo Directs, and they say, "I love video games, and I was playing a video game, and I was playing this, and it's really peachy keen," you believe them. Well, I believe them. They could be lying. And if they are, they're pretty good at it. Most of the Nintendo people, when they say, "We actually play video games and we like video games," it comes off as genuine and authentic. Andrew Wilson, Phil Spencer, um, what's Pitchford, what's his name over at Bethesda? I'll think of it. There's another Xbox guy that I'm trying to think of. When these guys say, "I'm like you, I'm a gamer, I play it comes off as completely false. And perhaps that's just really shitty public speaking. Public speaking's a skill. It can be very difficult to do. But whenever these bozos come out here and say, "I'm one of you, I play video games," I'm like, yeah, I don't believe you. Hey, Momo, haven't seen you in a while. Hope you're well. Chaos says, and that's why Nintendo's games usually turn out good. Todd Howard. That's right. Thank you. Um, yeah. When these guys when they talk, and it's one of the reasons that you've heard me talk about this before. I've often said they really need to stop having their CEOs do their digital presentations and live press events because they're terrible at it. They're also terrible at their jobs. They're just they should go away. They're terrible at everything. The hire professional presenters. You remember when Sony had that marketing campaign? I forget the actor's name, but he was that guy in all the commercials who was the VP of whatever for that specific commercial. He was great. He hosted part of one of Sony's shows one year, and he was great. And it's like, just hire him to do that. He's an actor. It's what he does. He's great at it. Nintendo, on the other hand, I've never really had a problem with Iwata or Miyamoto or Fizme or any of these guys being on camera because they're not great on the mic, so to speak, but they're delightfully dorky, right? As I said, they come across as authentic. They're not great public speakers. They're not really great pitchmen, although Sakurai, I think, is actually pretty goddamn good on the mic. He's got a talent for it. I think he's great in front of a camera. But most of these guys do seem authentic. The Nintendo Treehouse kids, they it definitely feels like it's a mix, right? If you've ever watched the Nintendo Treehouse live events, one of the things that sticks out is every time they mention they never use pronouns for the game. They never use it or the game. They always use the proper noun for the game, and they use the full title every single time. So if there was a Nintendo Treehouse event covering the new DLC for Donkey Kong Bonanza, they'd be like, "Hi everybody, welcome to Nintendo Treehouse, and we're here today to look at Donkey Kong Bonanza DK Isle plus what the fuck is the name? Plus Banana Fury or whatever the hell it's called, right?" And they will say that full title every single time instead of it or this or the game. They will use the full friggin' title. And it's so annoying. I hate that. I know why they do that, but it's still like when they'll have Metroid Prime 4 Beyond for Nintendo Switch 2. It's like, oh, Jesus Christ. It's the full fucking title every single time. And I know corporate is telling them they have to do that, and they are definitely playing up their enthusiasm, and they are definitely shills. Yeah, I mean, they work for Nintendo. They're PR people. They're selling you they're salespeople. They're selling you the product. But still, you believe that these people actually do play these games and enjoy them. I don't get that sense from most of the CEO people, other than the ones that we frequently see from Nintendo Japan, America, and NOE. So, Extra Life Charity, let's go! Yep, 1 month from today. I think we're 4 weeks away from Extra Life Charity event. The page is up. You do not have to donate this early. It's fine. I know Chaos got in early. But we're gonna be playing. So let's talk about Extra Life before we close the podcast. Extra Life is November 1st, right? Saturday, November 1st. Starts at noon Pacific Standard Time, runs to noon the next day. The time changes that weekend, so it'll be 25 hours. I've decided to put all of my... I don't like YouTube, and I don't like Alphabet, the company that owns Google, which owns YouTube. And I really wanted to demonetize my videos, but I can't. Not Nintendo. YouTube's going to run ads on my videos no matter what I do. So I've decided that to keep monetizing my videos and putting all of my AdSense money into Extra Life. So that's where all my YouTube advertising revenue goes now. So because it makes me feel better, and it's for the children. Um, so for the charity event, we're going to be playing the new Trails in the Sky remake. But we're going to start out playing the original Trails in the Sky. For the benefit of some of you, my sister, who I don't think has seen the games, and myself, because it's been 5 or 6 years since I played the first one. We're going to play, I think, up until maybe the Sewer and Roland, so maybe 2 hours, and then we'll switch to Sky Remake and spend the rest of the stream playing that. We'll be playing Stellar Blade for the After Dark segment. We'll exercise 9 p.m. and 3 a.m. is what we usually do it to help keep us awake. We'll be playing fitness boxing. This one is featuring Hatsune Miku, who I don't like. Adorable design, but my god, I can't stand Vocaloid singing. So it should be fun. I'm currently actually playing the game to unlock all the music so that we have options. I'm also playing Stellar Blade to unlock all of the outfits, again, so we have options. Some more tasteful than others. We're gonna play. Can you see it behind me? Yeah, we're gonna play another one of those investigative mystery tabletop games, the Hunt a Killer thing. This one is apparently a two goofball paranormal investigators are trying to exorcise a demon that's haunting some lodge, and they get ejected, and they need your help somehow. So that should be fun. Let's see, what else are we doing? Last year we did the nostalgic food, where we ate the garbage that we ate when we were kids, like boxed macaroni and cheese and hamburger helper and Kool-Aid and fruit roll-ups and stuff, to see just how garbage our taste buds were when we were little. This year, we're gonna... Boy, the hearts just keep coming. Is the heart button stuck? Where was it? Oh, so this year we're gonna do adult versions of nostalgic food. So instead of blue box Kraft mac and cheese, we're gonna make a homemade mac and cheese. We had just some ice cream with Magic Shell. I'm gonna make homemade ice cream. Instead of the chocolate milk and the strawberry milk that we made out of Hershey's squeeze bottle syrup, I'm going to make homemade chocolate syrup and strawberry syrup. So we're going to try the adult versions of all this stuff and see how that goes. So look forward to that. Yeah, I think that's everything. I'm looking forward to it. Should be a fun show. I hope you are as well. So extralife.org/participant/Andrew Eisen. You can check out the event page and see. Oh, and Lindy, of course, has offered once again, 6 years running, I think, to offer up her artistic services to the more you do, every $50 you donate, you get an entry in a raffle, and at the end of the night, end of the day-long marathon, we draw a raffle ball, and that person gets a custom. Lindy will draw them something of their choosing, and I've got plenty of examples of that on the site, so you can see past year's winners. It's really, really cool. So I think that's where we'll call it for tonight. Tomorrow we'll do some more Cold Steel 2. So hope you're looking forward to that. I am going to have dinner, so have a great night, everyone. Hope to see you tomorrow for the Sunday stream. Take care. Bye-bye.